Hello. Welcome to Actual Play's first prep game. I think OBS is telling me that you can hear me, so call that good. This is my first time doing one of these. It's my first time not having a headset on because I don't need to listen to anything, which blows me away. And my first time talking about game prep. So welcome. We'll probably be here for an hour or so, and I got chat open, so I'm listening or watching, as it were. If you guys have questions, we are, as you can see right there, going to start playing playtesting Agon Second Edition. Jason Morningstar has got us the man. It's weird not having a buddy to bounce off of. Like I'm not used to just talking and talking. I'm seeing people in chat talking, so that makes me feel like I have company. So we're all good. Anyway, Jason turned in a manuscript last week, and he's got some updated rules that we're going to be testing out for second edition. And we thought we'd stream it so people could see what we were doing. So here's some things. Thank you, Andy. I believe in you too, or I believe you believe in me. It's a good feeling having you in chat, Andy. Yeah, this is second edition as it were. So this is the second edition document right now. It is a Google Doc, and it only covers the things that we're testing out, which are new rules for battle, new rules for advancement, new rules for refreshes, and also what's not really a new rule. Yeah, vigorously screenshotting. Well, notice that you're getting table of contents right now. Also, this is playtest material. This is not highly classified stuff. But the other thing that is different is that instead of having the quests be randomly generated, I mean, I'm sure we'll still have random generation of the quests. We really want to have iconic quests. And so what I'm going to work on today is fleshing out a little bit of one of the iconic quests while still wanting to leave room for so that we're going to incorporate the characters' backstories, because we haven't made characters yet, and I expect if we're doing it right, we're going to make characters pretty quickly and jump right in. So icono quests, yeah. Well, and so I want to have as much prepared as I'm going to have prepared before the first game, so that as soon as we make characters, we can jump in. And my prep is along the lines of I want to have a few named NPCs. I want to have a few descriptors for them. I want to know kind of what some agendas are going on. I want to think about the gods that are involved with the quest and all that jazz. So the quest, John, you're getting an early look at this. That's fine. It's all good. The quest that I'm gonna start them off on is not. It's not even an island. It's a clump of rocks called the Peristiro Vrachoi. I butchered that, but I'm gonna keep saying it so that I butcher it not as badly. That's cool. Thanks for coming. So Peristiro Vrachoi, or the Pigeon Rocks. These are a real location, and they look, if you Google them, they don't look like a whole lot, but images, yeah, it's cool, it's neat. How much is that showing up? Yeah. I mean, I would land there. Like, that's awesome, but I think I wanted something a little more severe. So I'm going, let's see if I can pull up what I have in mind. When I was looking at islands, like the Galapagos, have a kind of the rocky look that I think would have the rocky look that I think would do nicely. But I found this image, and it very much spoke to me. I can imagine this is this monstrous rock formation, and there's just like the little, I don't know if you could see like the little smidgen of beach along the edge. So we'll see. I'm gonna play along. You must- um, I'm gonna play around with island images. I might not even have something, but I figure it'd be nice to have something on roll 20, have a little graphical image of the island. And I will read for you, read for myself. Um, the little intro that Jason wrote up, and he wrote I think a dozen of these, and I wanted to pick this. I picked this one because I love all the conflict. Then the name I'm going to struggle with. For what it's worth, um, I spoke to my friend John Stavropoulos, and I said, John, can you please help me pronounce this name in Greek? And John said, that is like the hardest Greek word I've ever tried to pronounce. I had to go to a website that helped me pronounce it, and then I still had to say it like 12 times before I got it. So I don't feel terrible. Um, this is a legit difficult word, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Um, the heroes arrive at the Peristero Rachoi, which are a miserable cluster of unforgiving rocks in the wide ocean. Two generals have met there, uneasy to conclude a peace agreement. Each has arrived along a magnificent warship with the best and most fearsome crew they can muster. They choose to meet among the Peristero Rachoi, or the Pigeon Rocks. Um, because it's a terrible place few men would seek to go, and they know they will be undisturbed. Well, they will not be undisturbed. They will definitely be disturbed. Hera wants the heroes to mediate in securing a lasting peace. Ares would prefer that the heroes pick a side and set the world on fire, and Ares is not alone. They have chosen this neutral meeting place poorly, however. The Peristero Vrachoi are capricious hosts, a fearsome monster in their own right. They will seek to smash the warships to bits and destroy any intruder with the audacity to climb upon their backs. Uh, yeah, I think the pronunciation is okay. It's not terrible, and I think I'll just get better at. That's why I'm saying it right now, because I'm gonna do a terrible job at it. But the more I say it, the smoother it'll come, and I hopefully I won't have to keep looking at my little pronunciation guide. I'm so glad that it is nicknamed the Pigeon Rocks, though, because when in doubt, I will fall back on that. So, um, what are we seeing right now? Yeah, we're seeing it. So the things that I'm thinking that I want to add here, and I don't do this in any particular order. Um, the island itself, the beasts within the island, the natural terrain, and the island as Jason suggests is a monster in of its own right. I'm not really sure that like I want to have the rocks attacking as a monster. I mean, that's what he's described, but I might take some liberties with that. There we go. I might take some liberties and have rock creatures or something along those lines. We'll see. Then I want the ships. I really like, part of this is that I like boats. My dad was a sailor and he told me about boats all the time. Yeah, it's a total Jason the Argonauts feel. I mean, that was sort of what drew me to it. But I really like boats, and so I want to have the two warships being from different places, and I also want them to be like very visually distinct. So what I'm thinking is a galleon, some big like classic monster three-masted, um, uh, uh, bulky, heavy-duty ship. It could have cannons and all these like things we kind of expect out of the big ships, and then a trimaran, and uh, um, and to be fair, this is my prep session, but like I was a little bit nervous, so I prepped a little before my prep session. All of that I'm sure is going to be exhausted in a moment, but I just sort of, these ideas are floating around in my head. So a trimaran, for those not familiar, are these three-hulled boats. And the first time a trimaran kind of like caught everyone's eye, or at least the first time I know of, was in a World Cup race where well met, Bright Eyed Sean. Yeah, thank you. Games from the Wildwood. Um, it wasn't a trimaran, it was a catamaran. Was uh, entered the World Cup. I think this was in the 70s, and no one had said that they couldn't have a tool hull ship, but the only limitation on it was the length of it. The longer the boat, the faster it goes. Well, a catamaran of a similar hull length will go much faster than a single hull ship. And so the catamaran like just whooped everybody's butt. And ever since then, I was like imagining catamarans, which are two hull boats, and trimarans as these very like zippy ships. They're really fun to pilot. And what's notable, I don't quite think you see it. The picture's being a little clipped, but what's like what I have in my mind is the same feeling when you're sailing a really tiny boat, which is that of the sailor's body weight means a lot to it. So uh, when the wind is strong and the boat is heaving, there's literally people strapped to the edge of the hull, leaning way out, and they're using their body weight to keep the boat from capsizing. And that way you can get the maximum amount of speed with the least weight on the boat itself. The hulls themselves are not nearly as heavy as your like single keel, big galleon kind of ship. But anyway, like I think those are very visually distinct. I feel like they'll speak a little bit about the people on board. I'm envisioning for I'm thinking like Amazons on the trimaran. Like I imagine them all like Wonder Woman style, like armored and geared up, but also like ready to be having like the waves like whipping at them and splashing at them, and like handling the rope work even when like hanging off the edge of the ship, and like firing arrows as need be. These images that are popping in my head. Um, the sailing styles of the Pacific Islands. Yeah, yeah. I think it could be. I mean, I'm definitely like not using exclusively Greek references in this in what I'm envisioning, but I think it'll still have the right feel. Um, so I'm imagining a trimaran of uh, peopled by Amazons. And then for a galleon, I didn't know. I mean, a galleon is might be more kind of conventional. It wasn't really, uh, yeah, totally Waterworld, Andy. Um, so I'm going to just look at the names list. Now, this is out of Agon First Edition, and John did us the kindness of um, yeah, they did. John did us the kindness of giving us this whole huge list of island names, and so I'm just gonna pick one of these for the. Actually, I'm going to pick one of these for each of the um, for each of the ships, as to be like what island they represent. Now, here's the trick. I'm going to pick one and I'm going to hold it very lightly. I'm going to pick one for each. I'm going to hold it very lightly, because if in the course of John and Karen and Nadja making characters, they decide that they're from an island that's really important to them, I'm totally stealing that and making one of these from that island. I'm not going to do that every time, every island they go to, but for the first one, I love the sort of dogs in the vineyard. Like, oh yeah, you walk into this town and there's your cousin. I definitely want to have family members and people they fought with in the war on the boat. Now I can do that no matter what. I mean, the war was ubiquitous. It involved um, all of these heroes, but it'll be even more fun, I think, if one of if they recognize the ships on site, if they go, that is from Island. So I'm writing these down right now, but I'm not becoming. I don't want to become overly attached to them. Man, this list is so good. I really like falsies, maybe because it sounds like it's a lie. Fault like you did. That's like falsies, but I don't know. I like it. P-H-A-L-C-E-S. I'm writing this down in my notepad. I really should I should really be writing it down here. The ships. A galleon from Falsies. And the trimaran. Let's see. The Amazons of so many good names here. Stolos. Are the islands always male Greek names or something? I don't know. It's a good question. John's still here. He might be able to answer that. We have Greek names that are male, we have Greek names that are female, and we have island names. I don't know if the island names are specifically gendered. I mean, I can see some that like definitely look like they are. What was I saying? I just had something. I lost my. This is why I'm my own worst enemy. Oh, you know what? I think I was looking at the male names. Thank you. Sean was showing us the male name list. Whoops. Yep. Okay. Well, that's fine. We're gonna look at the islands list. We're gonna do this right. Yeah. No, I was just looking at the wrong list. All right. I mean, those are still cool names, but let's try this again. Forget Pheles. I mean, Pheles is a cool name, but we're gonna look at the island names. And I want to go with Mockery. And Sarah. Mockery and Pasara. I'm doing myself, thank you for that catch, doing myself a little kindness and using short names that I know I can pronounce easily, knowing that I'm going to have a tough one with Peristiro Vratroi. Peristiro Vratroi. Peristiro Vratroi. Pigeon Rocks. Okay, cool. So I know that we have maybe okay. So that's all groovy. I'm going to flesh these out a little bit because they need to be not just, you know, a ship of a certain type, but, you know, as Jason describes them, magnificent warships with their best and most fearsome crew. So we're going to give a couple, descriptors to each of these ships in a little bit. I have a few ideas, but I'm going to come back to it in a second. And then I need to have the named NPCs. Named NPCs. So one of my favorite things to do in Agon is refuse to give names. When someone asks for a character's name, and this is a very like anti like Apocalypse World thing. This is the opposite of, you know, what you should do in Apocalypse World. But when someone asks for a character's name, and if that person is a guard or a servant or a warrior but not the greatest warrior, or a sailor but not the greatest sailor, I say their names will not be recorded in the annals of history. Why would you care? They're but a mere insert position or function that they have. They are but a mere orator. They are about a mere a mayor, you know, governor, whoever. Because I don't want to get caught up in like those character stories for one thing, even though they're interesting. But B, like it's really important that the characters' names are meaningful and that other people's names aren't. Like these are the heroes and therefore they're named. So I like it's against my normal inclination, but I refuse to give names to anybody that isn't like a major character. Now, we can decide somebody is a major character, like someone who wasn't the general can still be major, but that's a choice we're making to elevate them. By naming someone, we are giving them status in this game. And mechanically speaking, we're also making them harder to kill. You cannot permanently defeat a named NPC in a simple contest. So that's another thing. It's like it's literally mechanically reinforced that if someone doesn't have a name, they're kind of not, they come and they go in the story. And when they have a name, now they matter. So that being said, I want to name the leaders of these two generals, because these two generals are going to be fighting for something, and I want to pick out some generals' names, and as well as their a few descriptors and their agendas. Like, what is it that they want? No one has a name without an epithet. Most people don't deserve epithets. You are right. Yes. So I think I want to go with Akeda, and we'll figure out. We'll give Akeda. We'll give her a whole name in a second. Akeda. Oh, never mind. I know. Akeda the fleet-footed. Warrior, Amazon warrior of Sarah, and I think she's going to be follower of Artemis. Maybe that's too many. There's too many. All of Hermes. All right, and we're going to give Akeda some descriptors in a little bit. But that's kind of what I was feeling like. And for our second general, feeling sad. Oh, there's so many good ones. Thessala. The galleons have those cool god and goddess idols on the heads of the ship. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The galleon. Okay. So, thanks for asking. But yes, the galleon by all means have a giant bowsprit, and on the bowsprit there's a maidenhead on the end of the bowsprit, and that is certainly the god that they serve. Now, I think a kind of interesting thing about the trimarans is they don't have a bowsprit. That's just not the way the hull is built, and so they're not going to have that maidenhead, which I think seems like an interesting statement in and of itself. They'll probably have other, god regalia, but it's not like the front and center piece, the thing that everybody sees when it happens. So that was also a thing I was thinking in terms of the look of the ships. Like, one is going to pronounce the god that they serve very clearly, and the other one will not. Thessala, strong arm, strong limbed, and I think Thessala is going to be known. Thessala the Farsighted. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think the Farsighted is good, because I was thinking Thessala is Thessala the Farsighted. You know what? Before I finish the naming convention, I want to refresh myself on the hero sheet, and it's a heroic trait. Yeah, it's a heroic trait, name and lineage. Okay. So what I'm missing here is their lineage. And I put follower of Hermes, but I'll just put it out there. Odysseus and crew encountered a wind god. Yeah, there's totally possibility for a lesser god, or a god for that matter. Typically, the big G gods are not present in. Well, let me put it this way: they're not present as NPCs that are directing the conflicts. I like to put the big gods showing up as um, more innocuous figures. They're not the leaders. They're not like of these two uh, strong-willed generals. I don't imagine these two strong-willed generals that one of them is like, again, Hera, Zeus, Poseidon, but I could totally see one of them being a demigod or a spirit or something like that. So yeah, let's think about that. And in fact, Akeda, I sort of did her name incorrectly. It should be Akeda the Fleet-Footed, and then daughter of. Um, and I'm gonna just say, because I already had her following Hermes, we're just gonna make her daughter of Hermes. There we go. Just made her a demigod. And there she has a conventional Agon name now. And we're gonna just throw on greatest warrior of Sarah. I could change which Farsighted Thessala. When you're all playing this, by the way, below it is a coming soon games and other stuff, but not seeing this one. Yeah. Oh, we are playing this. You can see it right beneath my head. February 6th and 13th at 7 p.m. We're definitely going to do. We're definitely going to do 2 sessions for sure, and then I'm really hoping we can squeeze a few more in. That's just what we could schedule, and we figured, well, let's go with what we can schedule. So also you can check. I don't want to pull up. Well, I'll do it. Yes, there we go. You can go to the events page, and we have. I haven't told you who's playing in it. Well, I think now you're just like pulling my leg here, because I think I have told you who's playing in it. Because just look right below the schedule, and it says GM Sean Nittner, players Karen 12s, Nadja Odeker, and John Harper. So I think you're just messing with me now. Yeah. So our roster is up on the events page, which I just put in there. Yeah, so there we go. Thanks, Games from the Wildwood. I'm super stealing that. We're pulling that daughter. Boom. Tesla the Farsighted. And John was right in that it's yeah, well, apparently I don't know how to, because I just sort of flipped open first edition and I was like, oh yeah, this is how we make characters. How's the names work? Farsighted Tesla. Daughter of Aeolus, beloved of the Four Winds. Yeah, I want to say that she's a spirit. And being a spirit of the winds is pretty darn groovy when you're the general and the captain of a ship. So like with both these characters, one of them is a spirit, the other one is a demigod. Like this is like I feel like these are some people in Agon, right? These are people to be reckoned with. Neither of these are the type that are easily going to be fooled or easily going to be bested, and that's great, because it may come to be that one of the final battles is with one of these generals and their no, it's all good, John. We're all I fail to read at times as well, like I was looking at the wrong names list. But I don't want to prescribe like who they're going to end up fighting. I definitely do want to try out the battle system, because it has changed a lot, and the battle system has rules for non-physical combat. But I think so they may have a battle of oration, to try and convince one of these captains of something. And so I really want to make sure that, like, again, not only have I named these captains, but I feel like I've kind of given myself permission for their badassness. Yeah, the heroes are amazing. They're the heroes of lore, but there are others like them out there that are also competing for glory. I mean, they will never be the center of our story per se, but they won't. Um, fold easily either. And they have great resources. They have these ships. So, speaking of ships, oh, we need to name the ships. Man, this is why I have to do this, because I'm terrible at coming up with names on the fly. I'm like, the ship is called Longshore ship name. So I'm gonna Google ship names because I don't think that is a thing in there. And we're gonna see. I think I'm gonna probably name them. I think I'm probably gonna name them like the something. The Interceptor. No, we need old ship names. Old ship names. Fictional ships. Most infamous and famous ship names in history. I don't really want famous ship names. I don't want names that are going to be like, oh, that's from such and such. The Royal Navy. Let's see what kind of ship names the Royal Navy has. I don't think these are going to be helpful, but who knows? I don't know. There we go. Fictional wooden ships. Call it Look Far. Wave Rider. Yeah, Andy. That's exactly what I was thinking of. It's something, not necessarily virtues, although that's a really good one. But calling them, naming them after something. Yeah, I think I'm going to combine those two. And this galleon is going to be the Fierce Wave Rider. Maybe not sure if I want the at the beginning of the names. I'm gonna play with that for a little while. The Fierce Wave Rider for right now, and the Trimaran, which I misspelled. No, I didn't misspell. Better right the first time. Trimaran want to have, let's see, or pay Ursula Le Guin tribute and call it Look Far. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna leave that in there for right now. I'm probably gonna tweak it. I'm probably gonna tweak all these things a little bit, because what I tend to do is just, what I tend to do is get totally caught up in my head and doubt myself forever, and then I spit something out, and then I later on realize that I have a better idea. So unfortunately, I don't think we can catch my like bathroom break epiphanies or my wake up in the middle of the night ideas, but that is very likely when these things will be refined. I'll get them down now, and then I'll keep revising them. I'm working on a different project with John, and I keep writing stuff and then saying, look at this, and they go, no, don't look at that. It's terrible. I'm going to fix it. And like 7 revisions later, then it starts getting a little better. So I want to think about, I don't like the Fierce. Stealing that, John. Steadfast. All right, there we go. Steadfast Wave Rider. That's a name. It's not the name of the thing. It's the name of, cool. So Steadfast Wave Rider. What's the other project? I can't say. Sorry. It's a thing that both John and I are interested in. That's cool. You might have seen us playing other games of. Yeah. That's my life as Evil Hat. It's super secret project number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like we're announcing something next month, and I can't wait to say it. But And it's not going to surprise anybody. But anyway, all right. So the steadfast wave rider, you're getting closer. You're warm. The steadfast wave rider is this is like where I feel like I like have permission for decadence. This is where I feel like it's totally fine to just be wild and off the top. So there are all these golden um, all these golden facades on the side of. Do I know what facade means? I think I do. Um, where like they have these, they have along the edge of the ship, along the side of the hull that you. Oh, that's nice. Along the side of the hull, they have these depictions of great battles, and they're embossed in gold. Now, really, it'll be brass because gold is like way too soft, and brass is really really rust resistant and like shines very nicely and doesn't salt water doesn't mess it up. I don't know if salt water messes up gold, but it's just way too soft. But it doesn't matter because in the bright in the bright morning when Apollo is shining down on them, it's going to be this golden gleam, and it's going to depict this image from the war of the walls of Troy being breached. And we're gonna see like heroes climbing, over the walls and arrows flying and all this stuff. And it's gonna be this like this maybe I'm thinking of a mosaic. Yeah, I don't know if that's the wrong word. Anyway, but this the walls of the fabled Ilium as the city burns. Yeah. Definitely like burning, although it's harder to perhaps depict when you form it out of precious metals. But sure, why not? Maybe some of the gold will gleam with the colors of flames. Gold gleaming like fire. And so what we're gonna see is and this I'm not even just going to write down, but this is just going to be an image that we're going to share, is that when the boat is at rest, when the hull is, say, halfway sunk under the water, we're going to see these pompous, like assured Trojans standing on the top of the wall, like haughty and like totally sure of themselves. And then when the boat lifts up out of the water because it crashes against a wave, when it lifts up, we're going to see these Greeks that are scaling the walls, and there's going to be this kind of like holographic effect where the image of those haughty ones upon the wall, like when the light reflects on a certain way, now they are filled with terror, and now we see their eyes filled with fear as the wall is being ascended. And so at rest, we'll see. Oh, Ilm is the Greek name for Troy. Aha. Thank you. And so at rest, it will appear as though they're being somebody's looking down arrogantly, and in action, it will see their defiance. Yeah, and no gods watching over them. Snap. Well, I don't think it'll be no gods. I mean, that's great. I do like the idea that there's no gods because I'm super fan of human hubris and being like, forget you gods. But I wouldn't say there'd be no gods because we're going to have a god featured on the bowsprit. No maidenhead on the trimaran. The galleon certainly will have it. Paul was very much on the Trojan side of the war. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be, I don't think this will be Apollo then, because this is kind of just like show the defiance, like the ability to like overcome any odds. Um, I feel like, yeah, well, right. Like, I'm seriously not going to worry too much about which god did which and which myth for this kind of stuff. But um, I'm also thinking about the gods that are involved, like how many gods we're going to speak to. So we already know that we have Hera and Ares involved. I kind of don't want to put I kind of don't want to put Ares in the like associate with either ship, because I think the ships are genuinely trying to make peace at this point. And if they're, I mean, maybe one of them is affiliated with Ares, and they're only trying to make peace as a way to bait their enemy out. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna add a god here, but I don't know what it is yet. It's fine. The trimaran, on the other hand, is going to it's going to just bristle with weapons. Where the Golden Galleon, the Golden Galleon has these beautiful depictions on it, and it is certainly well armed. I think that the trimaran is equipped with ballistas and like various like tools for boarding, like the big planks, and like there's just like ropes like splaying from it every side. But that still doesn't depict someone who is magnificent. I feel like there needs to be something more iconic, more distinct. I mean, like ready to fight is good and is all well and good, but magnificent warships. Huh. Oh, not shy of being orange. And yeah, it's not shy at all. Um, uh, and it doesn't sort of make any other pretense. I think it might be that it's bristling with warriors and weapons. We had that same idea. Bristling with armed warriors. So I'm going to kind of go back to that idea of like the trimaran, in order to keep it aright, to keep from capsizing, that people literally have to hang on the very edges. And the way you do that, by the way, having sailed little boats, is you are literally standing on the edge of the keel. You're not on the boat. You're on the side of the boat, and you've got a strap that you're holding onto, and that's the only thing that's keeping you from like falling in the water. So I love the idea that there's like warriors that are literally like on the edge of the boat and like have their swords at hand, or that they've like strapped themselves in and they have bows at the ready. And so they're just like lining the edge of this boat like a razor blade of swords and bows. Are these warriors ready to defend it? So I think the warriors themselves will be the kind of resplendent thing. Like, these are the finest. These warriors are clearly the finest and most experienced warriors in all of the land. So, most skilled and deadly. Bright eyes and bright weapons. Yeah. Bright weapons. Gleaming under bull's eye. All right. Cool. And let me think about the other things I wanted to do. I'm still bouncing around. This is kind of my method. Is like I start on something and then kind of almost immediately jump away from it and come back to it. So the other thing that we need to talk about is the gods. Thank you. I'm glad it's looking very cool. This is the thing. a lot of this is like the kind of thing that ostensibly you do in game, and yeah, you're totally helping me. Oh, hey, Andrew. Um, a lot of this stuff, like the where I hesitate sometimes is not wanting to define things too strongly. But just having like a name and a motivation um, is huge for me, because then like everything else I can stem from it. But when I don't know those things, I fumble and I flounder. And sometimes the players give me something that's really great, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, that thing. But if not, I want to have something in mind. So the gods involved in this um, are Hera and Ares. It's from the prompt. I didn't make this up. Um, Hera wants the heroes to mediate and securing a lasting peace, and Ares would prefer that the heroes pick a side and set the world on fire. Ares is not alone. Hera clearly has the harder job here, right? Like Hera is not like, these are generals that have been fighting. For them to continue fighting is their natural state. They have come here to negotiate a peace, but like we all know how fragile that is. Like one person's going to say something rude to the other, and then boom, Makeda or Thesla are just going to be at each other's throats, or one of their sailors are going to be at each other's throats, and it's going to be a mess. So I think Hera has more to gain from this. She's seeing the opportunity for a piece that hasn't existed. And Ares, this is like regular fare for him. Like these two warriors have been at war before. He wants to stir the pot, but so I think on that Hera, because this is more important to her, because she has more to gain, is going to give them some sort of offering, some sort of gift that they can either use to broker the peace, or offer the two generals. So we have a gift, and I think it's going to be something that can be split. There's two of, sort of the opposite of the golden apple, right? This is not meant to create ire between them. The hitch that I see is that whatever this gift is, our heroes may consider themselves worthy of it as well. But we'll figure out what this gift is. It may be sort of Hera's. What's Hera's all of her virtues? I think I know them, but I'm going to guess them wrong. And right. There's the Queen of Heaven, vindictive in anger and gracious when pleased. She is best invoked to uphold the order of society. Her symbols are the lotus staff and the lion. Her abilities are cunning, spirit, and aim. So I'm just sort of making notes to myself here of lion, bow, staff, marriage gift. Magical lotus flower. Marriage is interesting, because Hera is all about getting those marriages on, and that's a great way to broker a peace too. I kind of like the idea that Hera was like, marry these two generals, or marry somebody on their side. It's also a very appropriate reason to like give them a gift. I'm liking that. Okay. Yeah, right. I mean, it's totally like I don't know if two generals that have fought with each other would hook up. Like that's sort of a weird thing to do. That might even necessitate more named NPCs, people on their crew that we know are our our Romeos and Juliet. Yeah, it's totally extra hot, but like it is a little weird to be like, hey, you two who have been fighting with each other and hate each other, now what you need to do is fall in love and get married. I don't know. We'll think on that. I do like marriage gift a lot though, because it's a great thing to give to two people. It's a great thing to broker peace. Yeah, we're doing that. For who though? And this might also be one of those things where, yeah, get married first, fall in love later. Well, that's a good point. It's a good point. Marriage could just be like the bond that stops them fighting, and they can figure out whether or not they actually care about each other afterwards. That is a good point. Yeah. So it's probably the generals, unless we come up with some first mates or something like that. But I don't know. We haven't. Nobody besides these two have come out against me. Now Ares Hells wants more fighting. So to figure out why Ares wants them to fight, I want to go back to the characters, the generals, because I think each of them is going to have like a personal vendetta. And this is where I would love to already have the characters made. Because I would tie their vendetta into something that that one of the characters that resonates with one of the characters, whether it's the same thing as one of them or whether it's the opposite, but something that they're immediately going to have, or that I suspect they're immediately going to have a reaction to. And where I'm hoping to see this, and where I will attempt to frame this if I don't get another, if it doesn't come up naturally, is in the achievements, not the achievements, is in the where we go, very end of character creation, weapons and heroes, the achievements. Yes, yay, didn't forget it. It's in the achievement section. The achievements part of character creation is like strings and monster hearts, albeit way before strings and monster hearts ever came around. And they have flashbacks to showcase how the heroes are bound to each other, what oaths they owe one another. Because we only have 3 players, it's going to be pretty quick. There's not going to be that many achievements. Each player is going to have an oath, either that they owe or they are due, from each other character, and then we're gonna look at every single angle of that. So John, Karen, and Nadja are all going to each have scenes with the other 2 on their turn, and then we're going to go around. So we're going to have 6 scenes between the characters, and in there, what I'm looking for, or just as the characters are just as they're talking about their characters and they're getting excited about stuff, I want to find their motivations, because that, to me, making this tied in is great. Okay, I'm babbling. Okay, vendetta, motivation. I tied vendetta and motivation in Agon very closely, because yeah, it's like I want a thing, but it's personal too. And I feel like, okay, this is Canadian soy sauce. You're like asking me a million times about the Maidenhead has given me okay, I totally know. I mean, this is like such freaking college humor pranks, but it's absolutely the case. The Maidenhead has been stolen by Thessala, and they want it back. It was knocked off the bowsprit in a battle. We all have just established that. Oh no, I'm getting it mixed around. I'm getting that gets the party started. Yeah, I mean this mixed round. Akeda is the captain of the Lukvar, but why do I have these in reverse order? Who did this? Who's thinking of this? This is like wrong. Let's keep them in the same order. Tesla pilots the steadfast wave rider. Okay. Her motivation is to cover Maiden. Is there another name for Maidenhead? It's kind of a figurehead. Let's call it the figurehead. There we go. Better word I like more in this case. Recover the figurehead. Figurehead stolen by Akeda and her warriors. Okay. Excellent. I think it was stolen like in a battle. Like this is a legit fight. Like the two ships clashed amongst their many other. These are two generals, meaning they're bringing their finest warships, but they brought many ships to battle. But in one of the battles, the figurehead was broken free of the ship, and maybe it was just lost. But Thesla is sure that Akeda and her warriors has taken it, and it is legit a spoil of war. It is fine. It's just as fine. It just embossed in gold and just as fine a prize as any other part of the Wave Rider, but it's also the heart and the spirit of the Wave Rider. So I think I'm going to want to talk about it. Gold, gleaming like fire, figurehead, noticeably. I can totally spell words. Missing. Yeah, right. From Valspret. Yeah, I think it's going to be like all the rest of the ship is beautiful, and damage it might have taken before has been repaired, but this is the one thing that they can't repair because they don't have the figurehead. Super good. Love it. Okay. And what is Thessala like? What are her characteristics? I'm gonna take a book that's one of my faves, and let's see if I can find it. I have it in Photoshop. I just don't want to scroll through a million pages by putting it in a browser, so I'm trying to find the version of it that I have that is all right, here we go. This will take a second. This is really good. Streaming. 302. Yes, there we go. Okay. There we go. I know, you're like, what does this game have to do? This has nothing to do with John Harper or any of his games at all. But what this game has, did I overshoot? Oh, I undershot because of stuff. This game has that I love is a little chart that is super useful for thinking of people's stuff. Now, these might not all be perfect here, but that's okay because I think these are pretty good lists of traits. Yeah, I know exactly. What is this game? We've never heard Blaze in the Dark. It's not my favorite game that I've now I think played more than anything else. Um, uh, but I love this chart. I use it all the freaking time, and it's fun for me. I have no dice near me. Okay, that's fine. I can roll that. I can roll. I can. I can get some random rolls. Um, it's fun for me to take a few traits and smash them together and see if I like them. And if I don't, pick other ones. Um, but but these work well for characters and blades, and I have a feeling that they will work well for characters in Agon. So let's roll some dice. What's a good? What's a good dice roll online? Yeah, sure. Roll for your party. You got it. Or no, I'm really hoping that you're not taking me to like something super offensive that's going to get me. Cool. Excellent. Thank you. 2d6. Submit. Why? I don't even see 2d6. I know. I'm sorry. I should not be suspicious. 2d6. Oh, there it is. There, right in the center. I got a 1 and a 5. Nice. Okay, well, 15 is suspicious. Perfect. Love it. Oh, clear this nonsense. High controls. By the way, I have a super restless puppy right now. He is just like, why are you not giving me more love? Why are you not like playing with me more? And he's just hanging out in my lap. Because yeah, he's just hanging out in my lap because that's what he likes to do. So if he hops up, all right. Suspicious, 35. Insightful, loving it. Too many questions. Suspicious, insightful, and dishonest. See, this is why I do it. There we go. This is why I do it. Because I would not have thought that Farsighted Thesla would be dishonest. Suspicious, insightful, love it all. Like, I totally dig it. But if I was making her and I was just like, I'm creating this NPC, she just wouldn't be, I just wouldn't think, she's been stolen from. So therefore, like, she's going to be the aggrieved party and therefore, like, has nothing to hide. But of course she has something to hide. Of course she's got her own dirty tricks. Of course she wants to win just as much as everyone else does. So dishonest, like, gives me a whole, like, suspicious and insightful already was kind of feeling those vibes. But dishonest is not what I was expecting. So I'm loving this, and I think it's going to flavor for me what Akeda's vendetta or motivation is as well. Is this showing up well on OBS? Yeah, there we go. That's fine. I'm hopping between screens. I can't see what I'm doing. So let's look. Okay, let's look at Akeda and roll some dice for her. And this time I can actually, well, clear. We're gonna just read these dice across. I don't need to roll 3 times. Put you all through this. 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Charming, loves it. 3-4 is gracious, cool, and 5-6 is daring. Charming, gracious, and daring. Okay, again, not the thing I would think of for our. I mean, I almost could see flipping these. Like I could almost see Farsighted Thesla being our charming, gracious, daring um, general because she's got the big old boat. She's the one that's had something stolen from her. But I love it. I love being surprised. I mean, that's half why we play games, right? It's to find out what happens and not know. So Akeda, her motivation, um, I think I think she is charming and gracious. Um, her motivation may be peace, but then that's kind of too easy because then it's just like give you back the figurehead. Cool, done. That's too straightforward. What do we know? What do we know about her so far? So her ship, from the Hall of Sarah, look far. Not 100% sure we're sticking with look far. I mean, I love it. I love Lotus Login reference, but I might add something to it. Bristle with Arm Warrior is the most skilled deadly. We don't really need that because Andy gave us the even better Bright Eyes and Bright Weapons. More personal motivation, pair motivations that conflict. Yeah, I think it should be a personal motivation. And that's what I'm sort of digging in to see is if I already have something that just jumping out to me as a personal motivation. I kind of think in terms of personal motivations, I kind of since I've already built these characters up as great renowned heroes in their own right, that um, that the kind of the pettier and more personal the grievances, the better. And I feel like what you do in the game is you fight over glory and being the best. And part of the achievements at the very beginning is like who had to help out someone else. And so I feel like this is going to be an issue of pride or of an issue of pride that Akeda was sort of one-upped by Thessala in some moment, perhaps of the war, perhaps something else. But I think she wants Thessala to admit that Akeda is the greater in some manner, or that to aggrieve a past wrong. There's really like of a personal insecurity. So Kata the fleet-footed daughter of Hermes. She's the fleet-footed and she's the daughter of Hermes. She lost a race. I don't know. She lost a race, and she lost a race because Thessala cheated because she's dishonest. She wants Thessala to admit that she cheated in the race. There we go. Okay. All right. This race might be for something that's actually important, like it might have mattered, but I don't care about that part because the motivation part to me is like the super like petty. You wronged me. And wants Thessala to admit she cheated in the race. That's not how you spell Thessala. What was the race? What was the race? The race was along on the beaches. Was it a foot race? Was it a sailing race? I feel like it was a foot race. I wanted something that they can resolve Thanks, Canadian soy sauce. I am really looking forward to Girl by Moonlight too. Um, oh, Andrew, you've been writing, and because your name's in green, and because Andy's name starts with an A, I've been responding to you as though I think I've been saying Andy, and what I meant was Andrew. Apologize. I was getting actual, factual, and fictional mammal. Anyway, sorry about that. But Andrew, yes, I'm down for the personal. I want this person. On the beaches. I'm gonna say Troy for right now, but that'll probably change. I know, right? That's right. Exactly. Um, Actual, fictional. Getting my names mixed up. It's just, as you can see, what I do. That's why I'm doing this right now. Groovy. Girl by Moonlight is hot trash. Stop it now. I know it is everyone's nature to be self-deprecating, but no. But Girl by Moonlight is amazing, and we love it. Okay, so games I love. You said part of the funeral games after Achilles died. There's a lot of nonsense going on there amongst the Greek ranks. Yeah. Games of Wildwood cheated on the race. Was there like a thing that maybe they needed to do? Like yeah, we'll just say race for the death of Achilles. Perfect. I am so fucking hyped for Girl by Moonlight. It's so goddamn good. Cool. So we have our ships, we have our NPCs, we have the gods. We know that. Oh my god, marriage gift. I feel like I want her to have a compass. I know that may like fall under the Poseidon guys more than Hera, but cunning, spirit, aim. Yeah, I feel like I do really want something that's sort of like a twin object. Compass, a helm, staff. I don't know. Thinking on this stuff. Awarded to the generals if they wed and make peace. Okay, here's the thing. Odysseus fell out with a dude over an archery contest or something. Right. Exactly. Thank you. Yes. This is a dumb race, and Thesla cheated. We totally know Thesla cheated, but Thesla will never admit it, and she won a pair of scrolls of poetry. Yeah. Scrolls of poetry. It's going on the list. I like it. It goes perhaps that recount their deeds, hit people in the vanity. Yeah, that might be some good stuff right there. All right, here is a thing. Chat, I'm probably gonna jam in a few minutes. I got about 10 more minutes before I need to start cooking dinner and doing things like that. but this has been very fun. But before I go, here's the thing I'm going to ask you, which is God's appearing, right? So I feel like there's sort of two um there's sort of two ways that are in my head, and like I need to like knock these out so that I can get the other better ways in my head in. So I'm hoping you can help me knock these ways out. So one way is like the big grandiose, like the sky, the sea parts, the sun shines down, the sort of like uh you know larger than life gods speaking from Olympus, um and like saying, here is your quest, da da da. And then the other way is the taking the human guys and showing up as a nondescript person who's like, hey, how about you give me some soup, by the way, why don't I tell you about this golden fleece, yo? And I those are classics, and there's no reason not to use them. But I feel like I want to, got to take an animal, guys. Yeah. How well talk? I was gonna say, how would they talk? But then again, talking animals. Um, so yeah, one of them could definitely take the form of pigeon on the pigeon rocks. Um, both of those somewhere in the middle. Speaking as beast. Yeah. Okay. We're definitely big on animal guises. So I think Hera at least could take the form of a pigeon because there's a pigeon rocks. That uh, maybe something nobler than a pigeon. I don't know. Um, what's oh shit? Have Aries voice audible. Oh, nice. Oh, that's really good. See, this is why. This is why voice. You had a dream about an animal and then see it the next day, and the words come to you in a flash of memory. Dream about about a pigeon. God, I don't know how I graduated. Pigeon landing on the crow's nest and speaking to you. Yeah, in the morning, when it lands, reminds you of the dream. Cool. I dig it. And so Games from the Wildwood, check this out. So not only do I love the idea of Ares talking to them, his voice bellowing out from the clashing rocks, I'm also animated. The illustrations have been important. I'm gonna hold on to that one. And I think these are good, but Andrew, I'm gonna totally use that because I'm gonna have another island in a week after this, and I gotta figure this all stuff out again. So so yes, illustrations. So not only are is Ares' voice booming off the clashing rocks, that's also what wakes the rocks from their slumber. Because going back here, they've chosen a neutral meeting place poorly. However, the Peristyrol I'm gonna keep working on that. Peristyrol are capricious hosts, a fearsome monster in their own right. They will seek to smash the warships to bits and destroy any intruder with the audacity to climb upon their backs. I think that they are slumbering, and Ares' voice wakes them. So the generals were here, everything was good. The heroes arriving is ultimately what gets these rocks woken up, because that's when Ares, that's the medium through which Ares chooses to speak. So wakes the rocks. I think I will broadcast that after they hear the voice, they see the rocks shifting and bending down towards them in malice. So they know that like the rocks are now alive, and the rocks already have the generals on the beach. Like it's happening right now. There's no avoiding that. Because falling rocks and all that jazz, so good. Okay. I think I'm gonna rolls out. Before I do, um, I've got a lot of good stuff here. I'm gonna keep fleshing these things out. Um, Before I do, does anybody have any questions in the couple 3 minutes about Agon second edition or what's going on with it or anything like that? I'll tell you briefly that Jason Morningstar is the one drafting it. Oh, when does it come out? Yeah, as a project manager, my official job is to tell you it comes out when the hell comes out. It's probably going to be a while. This is the first playtest outside of Jason's group. Once we've tinkered with this a little bit, we'll release a playtest. I'm going to say probably in the next 3 months. There'll be a public playtest, so folks that are interested in it, you can check it out. It more if we decide the rules don't work with the dam. But he's made battle much shorter. It was kind of dragging before. He's made advancement not hinge. It still hinges on glory, but who's the greatest hero amongst you is not entirely based on glory. It's based on legend. So there's other things. There's sort of non-physical things you can do to gain legend. I'm answering questions that were not asked. All I've seen so far is when it comes out, and that's whenever. Yeah, I think it's going to take. We're going to keep the good stuff, the character creation, the ability impairment, to sort of boost yourself, the oaths, all that stuff is gonna stay, and we're going to take the kind of bits that didn't work quite as well. Why should you be excited about Agon? Because it's Greek. Because you need to prove the glory of your name, Andrew. That's why. To prove the glory of your name. John is the creative director on the project. And so he is looking at the drafts that Jason writes and giving him feedback and being the final voice to say yeah or nay. And then once the draft is done, and obviously John's also playtesting it with me. Once the draft is done, then John will be doing the layout for it. So he's going to have a lot of hands-on, but he won't be doing the primary writing. And his thought is he wrote a really good game that had some holes in it, and he wants another person who ran the hell out of this game, which Jason did, to fill in those holes and to improve it. So he'll be working on it throughout. Both their names will be on the cover. Yeah, I think that's it. So thanks all. It was great hanging out with you. Thanks for helping me. This was again my first time doing this. I don't know if I'll do it again, but I had a blast, and it was nice. It was nice seeing all of you. So I'm gonna try and gracefully exit the stream by shifting to my waiting screen, and if that doesn't work, it'll just end. So again, thank you all. Have a great evening.